Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Women have occupied a place of pride in the Bharatiya or Indian culture. They have been given due respect, due importance, and have been empowered too. In fact, women have been the axis of all beneficial activities of the society and the household. We can put it this way: the woman in the Indian culture has been the owner of the household, the companion of the husband, the torchbearer of the clan, the proud progeny of the father, and of course, the support of all kith and kin. Starting from the times of the Vedas and the Upanishads, Indian women have enjoyed significant independence, responsibility, authority, and power. Despite several impediments, which have been because of socio-economic and political reasons in the medieval period, these women have withstood the pressure and have always held the light of glory ahead. A study of the lives and times of these women will not only give us clarity and strength, but also go a long way in increasing our own capacity. Women of India have grabbed the attention of the world. These women were gentle yet firm, kind yet fair, simple yet strong, disciplined yet compassionate, wise yet humble, and of course, empowered yet forthright. It is with this intention that this series has been thought of, where an attempt to know and learn from the lives of the great women of India is being made. Many of the Indian women had authority, yet were simple enough to be self-controlled. Some of them even had divine powers, yet were earthly enough to use these powers for the benefit of the people around them. We may learn a lot from the lives of all these women. It is a little unfortunate that only a few names of these great women of India are known to the world. It is a little unfortunate that the names of many of these great Indian women are not known to the world. Some of these names are used in the household, some in the intellectual gatherings, but many names do not find a place of importance anywhere. It is not because they have not achieved anything or they have done less. It is because that we have not cared to know about them and to learn their lives. In fact, these women can be compared to the roots of a large tree. Let's think of a banyan tree. The banyan tree has a large foliage. We can see its leaves, we can see its branches, we can see all the green around. And if the tree is very large, maybe we would even see the adventitious roots, the roots which are coming down. We can see the stem, but do we see the roots? Can we see the roots of any tree except for what are called the outer roots? Can we see the inner root that goes deep down? Can we see the roots of any tree? The Indian women are like those roots. Roots get the nourishment for the tree. The roots keep going under and under, searching for water, searching for nutrients, and also stand as support for the tree itself. It is also interesting to know that the roots of a tree not only support the tree, but also stand as support to the soil. If the roots are taken away, the soil is also eroded. It is the same with the Indian woman. She stands as support not only for her household, her family, but a support to all those around her and a support to the society. It is with this primary objective of getting to know the Indian woman better that we embark on a series that we meet every week to learn the lives of the great women of India and to discuss and better ourselves further. The earliest records of the great women of India form part of the Vedic literature. Names of several Vedic rishis and seers also have the names of the great women who lived in those times. It does not mean that the greatness of Indian women started only during the Vedic times. If something is already recorded and if something is quoted, it only means that the respectable position for it to be quoted would have been existent for at least some period of time prior to it. So is the case with the greatness of the Indian women. They've had their significant lives, and let's see the lives of some of them. A general assessment of the Vedic literature reveals that women of the Vedic period were encouraged to study. They had their Upanayana ceremony. They were thought to be the custodians of perseverance and work. They enjoyed equality and independence. I'm reminded of a saying in the Atharva Veda Samhita. It says, a girl will have to study before marriage. She would have to study as equal to a boy. And only after her study is completed that she would be married. Now, this is clear evidence to show that a girl was accorded significance and was encouraged to study further. During the Vedic times, we come across classification of women into two groups. One group was called the Sadhyovadhu or the Sadhyodhas. What does this mean? Somebody who becomes a Vadhu immediately, which means the girl gets married as recently or immediately. Does this mean that the girl does not study? It is once again important to note what the Parasara Samhita says. It is very clearly mentioned in the Parasara Samhita that a Sadhyavadhu is one who, after the Upanayana ceremony, gets into marriage. And the other group, Brahmavadini, is the one who gets married probably much later or does not get married at all. However, continues to get educated after the Upanayana ceremony also. With all these information, it is very easy for us to gather that the girl was inducted into education, probably was given the Upanayana ceremony at around 8 years of age, and after the Upanayana, some of them went into marriage and household chores, and some of them chose to become a Brahmavadini, thereby continuing her pursuit into what exactly is Atman. This kind of a mentioning only tells us that women had their own independence and their quest for knowledge kept intact. As we flip through the pages of Vedic literature, we see a lots of names of women who were Brahmavadinis. Who exactly is a Brahmavadini? Brahmavadi is a term that is found in any standard Sanskrit dictionary. One who discusses Brahman, or one who discusses the self, or one who discusses the Atman. One who can talk about, discuss about, and propose theories of the Atman is a Brahmavadi. The feminine gender for this word is Brahmavadini, one who can discuss about the Atman. Several names find place in the list of Brahmavadinis, especially 27 of them being important. Of these 27, we have Gargi, Vachaknavi, Maitreyi, Lopamudra, Apala, and so many others. Let us just have a glimpse into the life of Gargi Vachaknavi. She was the daughter of sage Vachaknu, and she belonged to the lineage of another sage by name Gargi. It was customary for a descendant to be named after a significant person of the same lineage. It is also important to note here that girls were considered to be the torchbearers of their clan. And that is why in the Indian system, the daughters were named after the fathers. We have any number of examples for this. The daughter of Drupada was called Draupadi. The daughter of Janaka became Janaki. The daughter of Daksha, Dakshayani. The daughter of Katyaya became Katyayani. The daughter of Parvat or mountain became Parvati. So it is an implication that the daughter is the torchbearer of the entire clan. And Gargi was also named Gargi because she belonged to the lineage of sage Gargi. And since she was the daughter of sage Vachaknu, she became Vachaknavi. She is thought to have lived in the 8th century before Christ. And she lived somewhere in the region close to what we call the Videha country or the country of Mithila. Some hymns in the Rig Veda are attributed to Gargi. She was a learned scholar. One important incident that is spoken of her in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is significant. According to this Upanishad, King Janaka, the king of the Videha country, performed a Rajasuya Yajna, and several scholars from all over the country came to attend this yajna. The king was very happy. And once again, as is customary after every yajna, the king wanted to give prosperity and some kind of beneficial things to all the scholars. He also wanted to honor the best of the best scholars who attended the yajna. So, in a kind of a plan, the king declared that there were 1,000 cows there, and those 1,000 cows will be given to the best of the best scholars who had assembled there for the Rajasuya Yajna. The king also did one more thing. He tied 10 grams of gold to the horns of each cow, which means the scholar would not only get the cows, but also all the gold coins. One of the scholars who had attended this ceremony was sage Yajnavalkya, undoubtedly the best of all the scholars of the time. Sage Yajnavalkya, in the presumption that he would be crowned the best scholar, called one of his disciples and told the disciple, "Take away all these cows home." The disciple drove all the cows and went away. Some of the scholars who had assembled there wanted to give a tough competition to sage Yajnavalkya. So 8 of them gathered around and said, "It is not very correct on your part to drive away all these cows. You would have to prove that you are the best. We may agree that you are a great scholar, but how is it that you have taken away the prize without any proof?" Yajnavalkya agreed to answer their questions, and there ensued a kind of a debate, at the end of which the 7 men who had challenged accepted their defeat. There was only one left. And who was that? Please think, in a large gathering of men, in a large gathering of scholars, where a great yajna was being performed, there stood this lady of great education, Gargi Vachaknavi. She stood up and said, respectful stage, you would have to answer my questions. You might be a sage. You might be saintly. You might be acknowledged by everyone else, but you still will have to answer my questions. And that was one lady. As we look at it, as we visualize what would have happened there, aren't we kind of amazed at the courage, at the self-control with which Gargi Vachaknavi came up and challenged the great sage Yajnavalkya? Of course, she asked him some questions. He answered, and it became one of the best debates of Advaita philosophy. This debate between Yajnavalkya and Gargi has been quoted by later authors and has been referred to by very many people. At the end of it, of course, Gargi accepted her defeat. It was not that Yajnavalkya thrust a defeat on her, but she controlled herself and said, "You have answered all my questions. You have given me clarity. You have given me some areas of light, the light which I was not able to see earlier. So I bow down to you and accept your scholarliness." It is not the result that matters. We would have to remember the Indian philosophy thinks more about the methodology than the result. The Eastern philosophy does not subscribe to the view that all's well that ends well. According to Indian philosophy, the method is very important and not the result. And that is what Lord Krishna told in the Gita too. If we take this, it was Gargi's method, Gargi's approach to learn, Gargi's approach to challenge with all confidence is what that matters, and not the ultimate result that Yajnavalkya was declared victorious. As is Gargi on one side, we find yet another woman of substance, and this woman was called Maitreyi. It's a very beautiful name that she had. There are some references to say that she was the daughter of sage Maitri. Of course, it is at this point that we would have to think and analyze and take into account the detailed descriptions given by several authors. There is one Maitreyi who features in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and there is yet another Maitreyi who features in some of the later works, including the Mahabharata. The later Maitreyi was called Sulabha Maitreyi, and she was the daughter of sage Maitri. She was called Sulabha, and since she was the daughter of Maitri, she also became Maitreyi, thereby the two names together making her Sulabha Maitreyi. But the earlier Maitreyi, the Maitreyi who is talked of in the Upanishad, was plainly called Maitreyi, probably trying to tell us that she was a very friendly person. She was a follower of Mitrata. She was a very friendly one. Now, who was this Maitreyi? She was the wife of sage Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya had two wives. The first wife was Katyayani, the second one was Maitreyi. He was a great scholar, we know. And this scholar, after he went through different stages of his life, and most of us would remember that a man goes through the brahmacharya stage, the grihastha stage, and the vanaprastha stage. After that, he becomes a sannyasi. Now, Yajnavalkya had been a brahmachari, and he had also led the life of a grihastha. After the grihastha stage, he wanted to become a vanaprastha. Of course, he wanted to go away separately, not take the wife along into vanaprastham, but he wanted to leave both of them and go away, a kind of sannyasam too. He called the two wives and told them, I intend leaving for the forest. I don't intend continuing this life. So I would like to make two portions of all the property that I have, all the wealth that I have, and give each of you your share and go away. Katyayani did not say anything, not that she was not educated, she was also an educated person. However, she did not say anything, or we do not know. Maybe the Upanishadic story does not tell us as to what she told. What is important here is to note as to what Maitreyi told. As Yajnavalkya told that he would like to apportion the wealth to both the wives, Maitreyi darted with a question. She asked him, Revered sage, please tell me, will this wealth give me immortality? He looked at her a little astounded and then told her, I'm sorry, my lady. Wealth can never give you immortality. No, wealth cannot. She immediately threw the other question. If wealth cannot give me immortality, what is the point of me getting wealth from you? And you want to give me wealth and go away. You want to go in search of immortality, but then you want to burden me with the wealth? I'm sorry, my sage. Please tell me, what is the way to know, to learn, and to realize Atman? At which Yajnavalkya told her, rather gave her an upadesha to know, learn, and realize Atman, rather know, learn, and realize the self. Maitreyi stands as a beacon of light, throwing all her knowledge, all her compassion on us. Now, these are women who had their own empowerment and independence. Maitreyi had her independence to decide that she did not want wealth, she did not want prosperity, but she wanted to be a Brahmavadini. She wanted to know more about realization. Gargi had her own empowerment and independence. These women who are from the Vedic times, who lived at least in the 8th century before Christ, give us a lot of information as to the kind of authority, and respect that was given to women in the Indian culture. How else can we think of a situation where the king, the people, and all those who had gathered in the yajna ceremony accepted the challenges thrown by a single woman? How else can we think of a situation where a wife challenges the man for his thrust of prosperity on her? Friends, as we think of Gargi Vachaknavi on one side and Maitreyi on the other, aren't we encouraged to learn more and more about such women? Don't we want to think of these women? Don't we want to learn from these women? These women give us a lot of lessons. It is not only from their lives and times that we learn, but we also learn from their experiences, their efforts, and their struggles. So let us meet every week. Think of such women, the great women of India. The list is endless. It is just not a complete list. Even if we try to enumerate the names of these women, one janma or one birth may not be sufficient. So let us have a look at the lives of some of these women week after week. Let us try to learn, discuss, and better ourselves. Thank you. Friends, some of you could have some questions, some doubts to be clarified. We can always have the questions answered and the doubts clarified. I'm here to answer your questions. We do welcome any questions from you.